Have you ever traced a route on a map, step by step, to a place you can see but can never, ever actually go to? Well, in this explainer, we're going to take a trip just like that. A journey home that exists only on paper, to a place on the other side of an impossible line.
See, this isn't really about geography or how long a trip takes. It's a journey measured in memory. It's about going back to a place that history has made totally inaccessible. It's a trip that happens entirely on a map, but it feels as real as any road you've ever driven down.
So that's the big question, isn't it? What do you do when your home is just a short drive away, but it's separated by one of the most heavily fortified borders in the entire world? How do you even start to make that journey? Well, you do the only thing you can. You start with a map.
To really get why this journey is so impossible, we have to talk about that line, the one that was drawn across a map more than 70 years ago.
This is a really simple fact, but it changes everything. The place we're trying to get to, Kaepong County, it used to be in South Korea. You could just go. It was home. And then, well, the war changed everything.
And you can see that dramatic change right here. Before the war, the border was the 38th parallel, but the 1953 Armistice Agreement drew a new line, the Military Demarcation Line, or MDL. In that big reshuffle, South Korea actually gained territory in the east, but lost this huge 3,900 square kilometer area in the west. And right there, inside that lost area, was Kaepong County.
And let's be really clear. The MDL isn't just some abstract line on a page. No way. It is a very real physical and political barrier that's at the heart of this entire story. It's what turns a short trip into an impossible dream.
But still, the journey begins, and we're not starting at the border. Nope, we're starting deep in the bustling, familiar heart of South Korea. Our starting point is right here, Seoul City Hall. I mean, look how far away it is from the border. It's such a normal, everyday starting point for what's about to become a pretty extraordinary trip.
And the first part of the trip is just so normal. You take the subway, you transfer to another train line, and then you hop on a public bus. I mean, thousands of people do this every single day without even thinking about it. It's a totally normal commute.
You can literally trace the path with your finger, from the subway, connecting over to the Gyeongui Central Line, just heading north, getting closer and closer until you finally reach the last possible stop in the south.
And the total time for this very real part of the trip? About 2 hours. That's it. Just 2 hours on public transportation to get from the center of Seoul to the very edge of another world.
Okay, so this is it. This is where our journey leaves the real world behind. From this point on, we're crossing over into memory and pure imagination.
And the source material is really clear about this. This next part is a what if. We have to just assume that the line that divides the country has vanished. So we're getting off the bus, and in our minds, we're getting into a car.
So from Daesungdong, that last village you can reach in the south, it's a short 15-kilometer drive to the city of Kaesong, just inside North Korea. This is the moment. This is where we cross over.
This map traces that imaginary drive. You can almost feel it, right? That mix of excitement and maybe a little fear, picturing the scenery change as you cross that dotted line, the MDL. It's this massive political chasm that, just for a moment, we're crossing in our imagination. We are almost there. We're now at the final, most emotional part of the whole journey, the last few miles to home.
We're inside Kaepong County now. This map shows us heading toward the final destination, Kwangdeok-myeon. And all of a sudden, the names on the map aren't just places anymore. They're like signposts pointing the way home.
And here it is, the very last part of the trip. From Kaesong to Kwangdeok-myeon. And just look at that time, 21 minutes. A drive that is shorter than most people's commute to work. It's so close you can almost feel it.
And just like that, we've arrived. Not in a real car, but through a bunch of maps and calculations. We've made it to Kwangdeok-myeon, a home that, for now, you can only visit like this.
So, what does this all add up to? Let's just step back for a second and look at the huge paradox of this whole journey.
The entire distance from the front steps of Seoul City Hall to the heart of Kaepong is just under 70 kilometers. That's it, a distance that should be completely trivial.
But what does that number actually mean? Let's try to put it in perspective. The journey is about 43 miles. For comparison, the drive from Princeton, New Jersey to Newark Airport is about 40 miles. Think about that. An everyday trip to catch a plane is the same distance as this impossible journey home. That really puts into perspective just how shocking the situation is.
And that really brings us full circle. A distance that looks so tiny on paper can be an infinite, uncrossable chasm in the real world.
A journey made of memory and longing, traced by a finger on a map. It just leaves you with this one big, lingering thought. For the countless people who are separated from their homes by this line, this journey on a map is all they have. And it just makes you wonder, when will a journey like this be possible, not just in the imagination, but on the ground? When will a map no longer be the only way home?